Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another day mobility. Let's start by finding a nice comfy spot on your back. Settle into a nice relaxing headspace. Just imagine breathing in nice relaxing chill vibes and exhaling any tension, any stress, any anxiety. Just imagine breathing it all out. And allow yourself to settle into a nice rhythm of breath, that pace of breath, that natural shape of breath that helps you relax. If you find it helpful, feel free to count the duration of your breaths, the duration of the inhale, the duration of the hold, the duration of the exhale, and a quick duration while you hold that breath out. And if you've been working at this program for a while, feel free to increase that count as you go. And if you've tried counting your breath and it adds any element of stress or anxiety, don't worry about counting. Just fall into a nice relaxing rhythm. Focus on directing that air deep into that diaphragm and slowly breathing out through the nose. We'll take one more breath here. You can slowly sigh out that breath. We'll grab that lacrosse ball and we'll start today's routine on your left pec. So let's go face down on your lacrosse ball. Start with a quick search through that pectoral muscle. And it could be pec major, it could be pec minor, it could be up around that collarbone, it could be around that sternum, it could be the lower chest. It's really going to depend on your own anatomy, your own posture, your own history of injuries and activity. So as you work your way through the pec, just feel out what needs attention. Anything that feels tight or restrictive, settle in, add some pressure, experiment with that pressure. Try to find that right amount of pressure that helps that tissue to start to settle down. And once you've settled in on your stimulus, take your attention back to your breath. Try to synchronize your breathing with that target tissue. As you let go of that air, imagine breathing out tension through that pec. Settling into that nice relaxing rhythm of breath that helps your mind relax, and use that mind to relax your body. We'll take one more breath. And as you let go of that breath, we'll shift our attention into the lat muscle. So sticking with the same shoulder, just working the back side of your ribs, looking for tension through that wing muscle. And if you've been working your way through the program and you have your regular spot, try to branch out a bit, try to find a new spot, do a bit of searching, really feel out what needs attention here. Once you've settled into that target area, center yourself back on your breath. Concentrate on getting that lat nice and passive and soft and just molding itself over that lacrosse ball. It can be really useful to work your lats while you're in an overhead. So if you raise that elbow above your shoulder line, it can help free up that tissue in the position of restriction. And again, whatever this exercise looks like for you today, just settle in and then concentrate on going to your happy place, relaxing, and getting passive everywhere you can. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh with that breath. We'll shift ourselves into a left tricep release. So still working through the same shoulder. Now we're just working the back side of that upper arm. We find it useful to release this in an overhead position. So again, elbow above your shoulder line. Searching through that tricep. Feel out where you've got that tension today. And then just lean into the right amount of pressure. You can just let that arm rest on top of that lacrosse ball if that's enough pressure. You can add a bit of force, activate the lats, and pull that upper arm onto that lacrosse ball. You can lean your head on top of it. You can start to lift body parts off the mat to increase that pressure. Let's experiment with how you're adding that pressure and tension. And then settle back to your breath. As you breathe out air, concentrate on getting passive and breathing out tension. Anywhere where we don't need tension right now. A few muscles we need to hold the exercise. Everywhere else, just let it go. We'll take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll get into some traction on this left shoulder. So we'll be demoing a child's pose version of your shoulder traction. So get in a bowing position on your mat. Firmly grab your left wrist with your right hand and pin it to the mat and gently lean away to get a pulling sensation through that shoulder joint. And as we settle in, just pay attention to your body's response. We should have zero pain, zero feelings of instability. Just a really subtle pressure release. The only goal here is to create a little bit of joint space to help that joint move and let those surfaces reset, allow them to glide a little better. Let's take one more deep, nice relaxing breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. Let's grab your pipe and we'll move into a hinge stretch in that javelin position. So grabbing your pipe, hinging at the hips, holding that pipe against the floor and letting your chest drop towards the floor to stretch that left side overhead position. And as you're settling in, pay attention to what's being pulled. There's a whole family of muscles that can restrict overhead range. Just run through your checklist. Is it your pecs? Is it your lats? Is it your bicep, your tricep? Whatever feels like it's being pulled, just mentally hit that off switch. Get as passive as you can through that shoulder and settle in to your pain-free limits of range of motion. And in 5 seconds, we'll gently get active by pressing that pipe into the floor. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension. Activating through those lats, ramping up that tension. Trying to press that pipe through the floor like you're throwing that javelin. Last 5, big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. And let's reverse. Squeeze through those posterior delts. Try to actively pull that chest closer to the floor. Actively pulling yourself deeper into this stretch. Ramping up tension as we go. Big squeeze here to finish. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Nice and passive. Run through your checklist again. Anything that feels like it's being pulled or it's working, resisting the stretch, just breathe it out. Let it go. Nice relaxed state of mind. Nice calming rhythm of breath. Let's take one more deep breath here. We'll sigh out that breath. And we'll start our attention on the right side. Let's grab that lacrosse ball, go face down on your mat, and work through the right side pec. So again, starting with a search, look for where you're carrying tension through that pec on this right side. If you found a good target on the left, feel free to start in that same area on the right. And if it doesn't feel like it needs that same attention, keep searching. And if you don't find anything in particular, just go with something. And once you're there, settle into that right amount of pressure, your right posture. You might find it useful to release this in an overhead position with a slight stretch through the pecs. These are all just options. They all work to varying degrees, depending who you are, depending on your anatomy, your activity history. And the only way to figure out what's going to work best for you is by testing some of these positions and pressures and angles all out and feeling out what works for you. Let's take one more deep, relaxing breath here. Take your time, sighing out that breath. And we'll shift into the right side lat. So working through that wing muscle on the right side. Start with a quick search below what needs attention. Again, it can be useful to release this while you're overhead. Once you've got your position, your right pressure, settle back to your breath. Focus on that nice diaphragmatic breath. Breathing through the nose if you can. If you like counting your breaths, feel free to do that. And if you've been working your way through the program for a while, remember to try to stay progressive. So adding a little bit of extra pressure to work through those deeper tissues as you work your way through the program. And always being conscious to how your body's responding, working within your pain-free limits. Take one more breath here. Direct that air in the diaphragm. Slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll shift our attention to the right side tricep. So again, working through that back side of your upper arm, ideally in an overhead position. Feel out where you need attention today through that tricep. Feel out what angle of pressure is right for today. How you're addressing that pressure, how much pressure we're applying. You might find it useful to add some movement through the elbow to get a bit of an active release effect. Just feel out what feels right for today. And settle back to your breath. Nice calming rhythm with your breath. Try to let go of anything that's carrying tension. Relaxing through your brow, through your cheeks, through your neck. Get as passive as you can through your whole body. Let's take one more breath here. Take your time sighing out that breath. And we'll shift into some right shoulder traction. So pinning that right wrist to your mat. Gently leaning away. Getting a distraction stretch through that right shoulder. And again, being conscious of how that exercise is impacting the shoulder. We want zero pain, zero numbness, zero feelings of instability, just a nice gentle pull. If you're doing this right, you won't actually feel much at all. The whole purpose is to free up that joint space a little. Allow those surfaces to glide better and allow us for better movement. Let's take one more breath here. Take your time sighing out that breath. And we'll grab that pipe and transition into our javelin stretch. So grabbing that pipe with your right arm, bending at the hips, pressing that pipe into the floor like you're about to throw a javelin, and then letting that chest drop forward to stretch out that shoulder. And as you settle in, work within your pain-free limits. Feel out what's being pulled and submit to that position. Relaxing through the triceps, your biceps, your pecs, your lats, your posterior delts. Center yourself back in your breath. Use that breath to calm your mind. Use your mind to calm your body. And in 10, we'll start to get active by pressing that pipe into the floor. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension and pressure. Activating through those lats. Trying to force that pipe through the floor, ramping up tension as we go. Big squeeze here to finish. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through the back side of your shoulder, trying to pull that chest closer to the floor. Ramping up tension as we go. Let's finish with the big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, nice and passive. Submit to that position. Run through your checklist of those muscles that are being pulled. Get as passive as you can through those tissues. Nice calming rhythm of breath. Mentally go to your happy place. One more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. You'll move into the left side lower trap. So back to your lacrosse ball, back to your mat, face up. Placing that lacrosse ball under your left trap. This could be just above your left shoulder blade, or in between your shoulder blades on the left side. Feel out what needs attention. Feel out how much pressure your body's okay with today. And there's a big range of pressures we can apply here. Level 1 is just let your body lie on top of that ball. Level 2, you can just lean into your left side. Level 3 is lift the hips off the floor. And it can be useful to get some motion through that shoulder. Moving in like a snow angel motion, moving that arm overhead and back and around. Through some of the positions you struggle with. And remember, all of these are just options. None of them are requirements. This is your routine. You're in charge. So feel out the version of this exercise that's going to benefit you mentally and physically today. Let's take one more nice, good, relaxing breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath and move to the right side. So placing that lacrosse ball on your right side trap. Again, experimenting with the exact location, the amount of pressure, and then your shoulder position. You might be rolling, you might be just hanging out passively. These are all options that work. Just feel out what's going to work best for you today. And once you've settled into the right version of this exercise for you, settle back to your breath. Concentrate on getting passive. Relaxing through that target area. Relaxing mentally. Relaxing through your off tissues. Any tissues that aren't doing much right now that might be carrying tension. Just imagine breathing that tension out. Mentally living in your happy place and enjoying the moment. Let's take one more long, slow, deep, relaxing breath here. Take your time sighing out that breath. And we'll transition into some neck circles. So let's sit up for this one. Start by bringing that chin towards your chest. Slowly moving that chin along your body towards your shoulder. Gently tilting your head back and around to your opposite shoulder. And then back to your center of chest. And then slowly reversing. And continue this at your own pace, at your own level of intensity, working within your pain-free limits. And also challenging yourself to work through those corners, attempting to carve out new range. Let's give it a good squeeze here for these last few. And we'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll call it a day. Thanks for joining us here for some 5-pillar mobility. Hope you're enjoying the program. If you like today's video, please do like it and subscribe. And comment on what you liked or what you'd like to see in future videos. Hope your shoulders are feeling great. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.